the person who's gonna creatively use AI, I think would definitely have the advantage over the person who doesn't use AI or who fears AI is gonna come and replace their job. So anyone can use AI just like anyone can drive a car, but it doesn't mean everyone should drive a car. And some people are gonna figure out how to do it a little bit better than other people.
In Arizona, they were fully autonomous. We drove in one, and these Waymos had no driver. It was a driverless taxi.
Man, that's wild. What are some of the like AI tools that you currently use?
So Gamma and ChatGPT for sure.
Okay.
And I just heard about another one I'll have to check into.
Welcome back to the Content Parlor. I'm your co-host. A little preview, trying something a little different. I'm your co-host, Chardell Barnes. We have to my left
Xavier Jackson with the local art plug. Glad to be here.
And the other co-host, Teddy Young.
Welcome back to the show. We're here talking about a 2-letter thing today, which you'll find out in just a second. But this is the Content Parlor. This is the social club, the go-to social club for creatives and business owners. We are back with another episode. This one is an exclusive with a heavy hitter in the artificial intelligence space. Not only that, but many other areas that this gentleman covers in technology. So we'll just say technologist in general. I'll give him his chance to introduce himself in a second. But before we jump into that, let's just get some housekeeping out of the way. Not only is this the social club for creatives and business owners, this is also an episode that's sponsored by the Content Parlor Studio. We're in the studio now. You can see the slider sliding, and you know that this studio is available for rent because we told you last time. This equipment that we're using is available for you to create your own stories. We have a photo studio, video studio, and also the ability to produce high quality audio as well. So if you need access to this equipment, hit us up, stablegrade.com/studio. All right. Now make sure you go out and follow us on social media on your favorite platform. We would love to connect with you and continue to build this social club up. There's going to be a lot of goodies coming, so you want to be tapped in. You can find us under the handle @Content Parlor. That's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Follow us. We appreciate it. Make sure you like this video as well and subscribe so that you get the bell notifications. That's how you get the latest and greatest goodies from us. All right, so that's the housekeeping out of the way. Let's go ahead and just get a clear picture of who we've got here on the show today, our special guest. Local Art Plug. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Local Art Plug and what you do as a technologist?
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you both, Teddy and Chardell, for having me here. So again, my name is Xavier Jackson. I'm the founder of the Local Art Plug, and what we look to do is connect local artists in a few different ways. So whether that's with local businesses, with nonprofits, with each other, or with the community, or with the world, we looked at different platforms and different avenues to be able to make that happen. One of the ways that we're being able to do that right now is through our website. You can go on there and browse a few different local artists, as well as buy works from them and find out what's going on that weekend in the creative world. And we're looking to take that to the next step by making it more innovative and making it easier to find artists in your area, as well as what does it look like when you take art into the digital realm with the metaverse and VR and all that good stuff too.
Right on. And then tell them a little bit about those the creative and coffee. events.
Definitely. So we also not only do stuff in the digital space, we meet in real world too.
Yeah.
So it's very informal, low stress environment. I don't know which camera to look at, so you're gonna see my eyes just moving all over the place. So I like to call it introverts being extroverted, essentially. So we're all like in our bubbles, but we're in our bubbles together. And I found just along the creative process, the creative journey, and just even the entrepreneurial journey, oftentimes you're doing things alone, by yourself, and it can be very isolating, maybe even depressing at times and things like that. But it can be energizing to get around those like minds and people who are kind of going through the same thing that you're going through, whether that's making something creative, writing some code, building a business, or whatever have you. You can kind of relate over the that almost like scientific process of just like trial and error and figuring things out.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And what better place to be as a group of creatives than to be in a creative space? So I know we're looking forward to hosting one of those creatives and coffees here at the Content Studio coming sometime in the future. We'll let y'all know.
Stay tuned.
Let y'all know the date. Just a little. Well, I know the topic was already picked out, but it aligns with just what, coming back from InvestFest. You familiar with InvestFest?
A little bit, but I'd love to learn more. Yeah,
So, so you heard of the Earn Your Leisure guys? They have a podcast. So this is something that I think this was like the third year of something that they have put together. So it's a place that you go to learn about, to network, to learn about ways to grow your business, to learn about investing, technology,
Credit, finance.
credit, finance, all those things, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger. A lot of big names and things like that. So we had an opportunity to go. We went down there to Atlanta to check it out. It's a 3-day conference. We was there for 2 days, but we also wanted to go down to Atlanta to also check out a place called the Russell Innovation
Center
for Entrepreneurship.
Rice.
Right. So we wanted to check that out too, because they're looking at doing something like that similar here in Omaha. So we was able to kill two birds with one stone. But there was a lot of great speakers and learned a lot. But one of the things that did stand out to me was the panel. One of the panels. I was able to catch one of the panels on AI, which had someone named X, and then
there was Van Jones.
Van Jones
And I think Wyclef was on that
yes,
panel.
Wyclef was on that panel.
Wyclef.
Yeah.
This was a star-studded event. Before we go too deep, this event was star-studded, all right? Teddy laid the canvas, now I'm going to paint on top of it. Okay, you've got Van Jones, you've got Wyclef, will.i.am, 50 Cent, T.I., you've got
Steve
Harvey, 19 Keys,
Monica.
Billy Carson. Billy Carson was there. I mean, if they were African American and they had a platform. Oh, shout out to D1. D1 Music was there. He walked right past me. I got a little clip of him.
Okay. Lecrae was there too.
Lecrae,
wow.
yeah. There's some MCs.
Wow.
MCs. That's
crazy.
Black Excellence, as it's called. But this was Wakanda. This was Wakanda in real life. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
It was, for sure. But yeah, the conversation was about around AI, and Van Jones, he was talking about. Matter of fact, let me start here. So there's a lot of excitement, but then there's also a lot of fear.
Yes.
And so one of the quotes that X had was, I don't know what your thoughts is on this. It said, AI is not going to replace you. The person using AI is going to replace you.
Ooh. That's a good way to put it. I do like that quote a lot. And definitely want to make it down to InvestFest. It sounds like it was a great time. Yeah, definitely putting that on the bucket list. But no, I like that quote a lot because I've even heard AI being said as it will confidently give you the wrong answer. So anyone can use AI just like anyone can drive a car, but it doesn't mean everyone should drive a car. And some people are going to figure out how to do it a little bit better than other people. And it's those people, because I was watching something, just to jog my brain about AI before I came here. But essentially, some people aren't going to be able to keep up with the other ones who are adopting it right now. You have the chance to get in there and write prompts, and that's really where you're going to be able to make yourself stand apart. Is those prompts, which is basically like a suggestion to that AI, go and do this. It's a little bit different from Google. I've never really used the AI to Google. I use ChatGPT mostly and stuff.
Okay.
And we could dive more into that. But being able to get like very specific and get very like customized responses, and then even to get more specific responses on top of those. And I can give you some examples of that and stuff too. But the person who's gonna creatively use AI, I think would definitely have the advantage over the person who doesn't use AI or who fears AI is gonna come and replace their job, because at this point. AI is not smart enough to be sentient. Not that I know of. Maybe they might have built some. I heard that Sam Altman with OpenAI got scared at some point because he built something that might have been too smart. But I don't think they're going to let anything out to the public that's going to be more than kind of what ChatGPT is, essentially, where it can kind of research and compile and just like do like those menial tasks that we don't like to do. It just makes things easier, definitely.
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely say fear the person, don't fear the technology that's going to come and take your job.
That's really, really interesting perspective on it. My thoughts when I heard that, because I was fortunate enough to be there with Teddy and hear it live, was that from a creative standpoint, it's absolutely true that artificial intelligence is a tool to streamline and speed up workflows. It's a workflow tool at the end of the day, whether it's a personal life workflow tool or a professional life workflow tool. It's a tool that speeds up workflows. And I personally think the whole workforce is going to be centered around AI in about 10 to 15 years. We already see that happening, right? We see things like, some extreme examples, right? You've got examples of McDonald's removing the customer service interactions almost entirely and making those entirely AI. Most of us don't realize that we've been like frogs in a boiling pot when we go to places like Target and Walmart, and the checkout process has been almost entirely moved to self-checkout in a lot of places, right?
I went to on a trip. We always try to, when we go through Kansas City, always try to stop at a Steak and Shake, and I noticed how they don't even have a person take your order anymore. It's all screen.
Wow.
To take your order.
That is crazy.
Yep, you punch in your order. Everybody has to.
Yeah, and you see that at fast food. You're seeing it at places like Walmart, right? I remember not too long ago where the self-checkout was a small option. Now it's the way you check out.
Right.
It's either you order in advance and pick it up.
Yep.
They have a whole curbside pickup section now. Those used to be handicap and military.
Nah, it's pickup.
They didn't got rid of pick it up, military, and get on your way. So the automation is here. It's not coming. It's here.
Yeah.
And we see more extreme examples, right? We see like Waymo. We were just in Atlanta for InvestFest and spotted some Waymos in Atlanta. Now, earlier this year, I was in Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just put Waymos in cities that start with an A. I don't know what's going on. It's an AI thing. I don't know. But in Arizona, they were fully autonomous. We drove in one, and these Waymos had no driver. It was a driverless taxi.
Man, that's wild.
which is nuts.
That'd be crazy.
Now I've rented Teslas and I've tried out self-driving, but I've never seen a car be so smart at obstacle avoidance, using navigation, et cetera, et cetera. I believe that's the future of taxis. I think Uber drivers, watch out. Your job is on the line here in the next 10 years. So those are some examples of the way that it's going to eliminate jobs. But we also see things like the Adobe Creative Suite implementing AI.
Yeah.
Now inside of Lightroom, you can select the background, select the subject using AI, and adjust the highlights, the shadows, the saturation. You can change your, Caleb, who's off camera, just mentioned you can select a focus point and set depth of field using AI inside of Lightroom. We all know about the magic select tool inside of Adobe Photoshop, and being able to select an object, remove it from the background, do things like a shout out to Affinity Photo in painting, where you can select an area and it will redraw based on sampled pixels a simulated background. And you
Right.
could do that in Photoshop too.
Yeah.
But these are examples of how AI is speeding up workflows. Now, those same types of things are coming to the video editing workflows, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
Take a tie out and track the shirt without the tie now, or the splotch on the shirt. Or I would want a cat walking in front of the person, so add that element and have it walk in front of me. Crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy. AI is going to be a workflow tool, and those who embrace it will have jobs, and those who don't embrace it will be fired or will not be hired. Their resume will not qualify.
I agree with that. I do agree with that, actually. Yeah. And I think the next thing that's going to come about is there's going to be, I don't know if there's going to be a demand, if there's going to be legislation, but because AI is taking all these low-level jobs, there's going to have to be like some type of universal basic income. Simply because AI is going to get to the point where it's going to take all of these like simple manual labor, kind of repetitive tasks. It can already drive a taxi. That's not like simple. That's pretty incredible. And I went to Arizona State a few years, or not even Arizona State, just Arizona to visit my family. I think maybe in like 2019, sometime around there.
Okay.
And they had the Waymo cars going there.
Oh,
So
really?
they-
That far back?
So they, I think the students at Arizona State University, they have like a very advanced robotics program. And that campus is one of the first places where they started testing the autonomous vehicles. Because I remember when I got there and I saw that, I was like, what is this? What are these crazy cars with all this thing on top spinning and stuff? And they used to be a lot bulkier than they are now.
So is they the same? Not, I can't remember what company it was, but they're also doing that with semis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're yeah.
And that's going to be crazy
Like,
too.
It's almost here. They're testing it
Yeah.
now.
And then
Yeah,
with
the
that,
tech
it's
is-
going to be like, there'll be, the semi will drive itself, and there'll be like a person who's in the passenger seat who basically monitors the robot to make sure it does its thing. And if the person has to take over, they can.
Gotcha.
I was watching a documentary on that too, like a year or two ago, but it's here, and the truckers in that video weren't very happy about it. They were kind of scared a little bit, but they were like, yeah, even with the payload, no payload, because you know you got that big trailer, and if it's empty, it's just gonna catch wind, and that'll blow you all over the road. And that's a lot different driving an empty, trailer than a full
Right.
trailer, because that one's just gonna be weighed down. So it calculates for all that stuff. So it's insane. Yeah, the future.
Let me grab some popcorn, because this is getting crazy. We brought the popcorn out because this is a jam-packed episode with interesting topics.
Now in that same panel, place that Wycliffe was in there, and they was posing the question about fearing AI, and then specifically pointed to him about with music creativity, and the way he answered the question was it's pretty creative. He just went to a freestyle. Yeah, freestyle, and he freestyled in what, 3 different languages.
Yeah, he's something special.
The point he was making is that that AI or computers they're not creative. We're the creative ones.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, that's an interesting argument. I think, what is creativity, right? Like, it's really at its core, and that'd be a thing to define here on this episode, is what is creativity. But I would define it as the ability to interpret the world around you and augment the world around you in a way that people can understand. And so comprehension is a key prerequisite to being able to create. And I'm not sure that, even though AI has the ability to mine data and interpret that data, I'm not sure that AI will ever have the capacity to fully feel the world around it and express an augmented interpretation of that world. Can it alter the world? I think altering and augmenting are two different things. To understand the environment and the ecosystem and to add value to that is different than altering the world, right? Maybe AI could say, like, well, if people are getting B pluses on this type of exam, why don't we change the type of exam that we deliver? Is that real creativity, or is that just problem solving? Like, creativity is like this inflection point where you have such a deep understanding of the medium you're trying to augment that you're able to And I think also another element of creativity is that you have limitations. And that's a thing that AI is not able to take advantage of, right? Like, the reason why genres of music exist largely is because we use a medium based on our limitations. Not able to play every instrument in the world. Otherwise, maybe AI would play them all at the same time. The restraint, the limitation of only having a guitar forces me to get good at the guitar and learn these different things. So I think creativity is really in a limitation and a deep understanding, and then being able to augment and say, well, this is all I have, so let me make lemonade out of it. I don't know if AI could ever do that.
That's a good point. I can't think of the exact quote, but some to that extent that breeds creativity. Restriction.
I agree with that. You definitely need that restriction. I feel like, it's interesting because human creativity, it's like you can bring something that never existed before to life. I think you can do that to an extent with AI, but it's drawing off of every knowledge and things that already exist, if that makes sense. I don't know how to say that, where it's like we can kind of theorize something and then we'll make it happen, whereas a computer will say, oh, this is impossible. And now we're time traveling somehow. We figured it out. I don't know. And I don't even know how to explain that thought, but I feel like AI, like you were saying, is definitely a tool. It's definitely a workflow tool. And I've heard a lawyer say that he's used it before for like legal jargon. And at the end of the day, you're still going to have to take whatever the AI gives you to a lawyer, because it's still not going to know all this.
This is legal.
That's true.
Now.
I mean, I've used it for
I've used it for some things too.
I still have lawyer limits.
Yeah.
It's like trust ain't fully there yet.
Uh-huh.
It's like, all right.
Well,
And
even
same
you,
with art, yeah.
you think about tools like LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, things like that. They can create a legal document draft, but does it specifically suit your case? Does it suit your specific use case exactly?
No.
Oftentimes, the answer would be no, right? It's a templated file that you then have to read through and edit to suit your use case. But an argument could be made that things like LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer are absolutely AI. Those are low-level forms of AI.
I think we've had low-level forms of AI for years and just never really recognized it like that. Because even I feel like when you go to websites, and it's one of the things you can integrate is that little chat bot that pops up and says
Right.
something.
Even just the little different prompts that we get is AI. It's like
a
originally
form of
like
it,
thinking
yeah.
about AI, you just think of like iRobot, you know what I'm saying? You think of those movies where there's actual like robot, versus a lot of the technology where it's just kind of been integrated into, our daily lives that we don't look at it like that. But all that is it. So with
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
what are like some of the like AI tools that you currently use?
Definitely. I use ChatGPT a lot. Definitely a big ChatGPT fan. And I use it very specifically. I ask it a lot of very specific questions. For example, I mostly use it for like writing tool to kind of speed up the workflow there. So social media, make a targeted post that's gonna reach 20 to 30-year-olds, and make it something that everyday people can understand. Give it a strong call to action, and then once that's done, I'm like, okay, now make it more empathetic. And then I'm like, okay, well, now make it have a stronger call to action. I'm like, okay, now make it have, I don't know, just make it have a little bit of humor. And then none of those things I read. And I'm like, okay, now combine the best portions from all four of those. And then that's the one I read, is that fourth one, and then I'll edit that and give it the human touch. And I found that helps it have like a lot more human voice. So definitely love ChatGPT. And then I learned that from going to like a nonprofit networking thing. And I was like, what? That makes so much sense.
It was just like on prompt?
Yeah, just on prompts. Yep. And you just keep asking it more specific and specific questions. I was like, I've never thought to use it like that. Usually I just say, or what I was saying before is, just write an email,
Right,
write a
and
social
that's
media
kind of like
post.
the most basic way of
Just the most-
doing
yeah.
it. But you can ask it a series of questions, just like you would just ask anybody. Like if you're taking somebody through, you're taking somebody through an exercise.
Yeah.
You would ask these series of questions to draw the answers that you want.
Exactly.
And then you would compile it, but it'll compile it for you.
So crazy, yeah. And it's gotten to the
Dang.
point where it can start to learn like your style of writing and your style of voice, and you can tell it to write in your own style of voice, which is kind of cool. And then it's getting to a point where it asks me, which prompts do I prefer? Like which format? Is it more of like a bullet point? Do I want more paragraphs and things like that? So ChatGPT is super interesting, and seeing how it's kind of developing. I've used another one called Gamma.
Okay.
I think that's gamma.app or maybe gamma.io. That one's like a presentation builder, essentially. So you can use, what's it called, ChatGPT to write a prompt. I think you need about 100 words to be able to describe what it is that you want Gamma to build. And then it can build like a PowerPoint. It can build a slide deck. It can build, just like a presentation.
Wait. Okay. You write a paragraph about what you want in your presentation, and it builds everything, the slides,
Everything.
puts the pictures, all that in?
Everything. It looks like you took like 5 hours to build it, because I helped an older gentleman work and build his presentation. I was like, sure, I'll help you. And then we worked out the description, and this was my first time using it. And I put it in the thing, we watched it together, and it was like magic. It just all appeared, all the slides, all the titles, all the bullet points. It generated, the AI photos to match the images. I think his was about building like an athletic youth facility. So there's kids like playing basketball and football and like adults coaching and things like this inside of like it just looked like a generic pictures inside of an athletic facility. And then it had all the text that made sense. And then you can go in and, change the bullet points, and you can,
Right.
because it gives you it takes that 100 words that it gives you, and then it gives you like a mock like 5 bullet points or 10 bullet points that it's going to use. And it's like, is this kind of around the general area that you're talking about? And you say, yep. And then you go from there, and it just starts building, and you'll get like 5 to 10 slides, depending on how detailed what thing that you have or you want. But yep, Gamma, that one just saves so much time. And then even when I'm helping people with like their pitch decks for pitch competitions, I'm like, all right, let's use this. You do have to go in kind of like ChatGPT and like tailor it to yourself a little bit.
Right.
It's like not everything's going to be 100% accurate, but that saves you like 2 hours of time, like every time. It's crazy. So Gamma and ChatGPT for sure.
Okay.
And I just heard about another one I'll have to check into. It's called Notebook LLM. And what this one does essentially is it'll compile, because I use my notes a lot, and it'll compile all your notes and make it easier to just like search through them and categorize things. I haven't used it yet, but I just downloaded it before this meeting, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it out after this one. I have seen some people use the Otter app, Otter.ai. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with that one at all.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. One that I've used is actually it's a device. I don't have it on here, but it's called like, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's like Plaud, Plaud. So it sticks on here, but you just turn it on. It connects to an app on here, and like I can record the meeting.
Oh, that's
or
cool.
us talking, and it'll record the whole thing, and then afterwards, you get to choose how you want your points. Right? You can say meeting or just different types, like lecture, whatever. You can choose that, and it'll spit out like all the points and list everything out.
Wow. Because I take notes at all my meetings, so that would save me so much time.
Dude,
yeah.
that's wild.
Wow. Yep. So I'm definitely going to check into that one.
Okay. Van Jones, he had mentioned like there's just like 5. He called these like 5 game changer apps that that everybody should use, that are AI, that will help them level up, or what do you say, take over the world or something like that? Something like that. But he mentioned the Gamma.
Oh, did he?
And the other 3 was Suno, Runway, and Midjourney.
Midjourney was going to be another one I mentioned. I haven't used that one yet, but I've heard some stuff about it. I think it creates images, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. I was trying to look it up before this. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does image rendering tasks or image related tasks. I believe it can also take in an image and augment it as well. So it can take an existing photo of you, make you buff. It can take an existing picture and cartoonify it, make it more glamorous looking. Change the background. Take the background. Take that photo, but take the background out and put you on a beach.
This is one people use for can use for headshots.
I think a
Or is
lot.
that something else?
I've been wondering what people use, because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. So one thing that I've seen too, like with so just to go back, just to be clear, because I saw this as kind of a pop quiz. The way that he asked the question was kind of indirect, but I was comparing the tools that you use to what Van Jones said at the event at InvestFest. And so his breakdown, so we'll throw that up on the screen, but his breakdown was these 5 tools, and then ChatGPT, and then Mrs. G is how he said it. So Midjourney, Runway, Suno, and Gamma.
Yep.
So it's interesting as you're going through your list of tools, how many of those complemented what he said.
Right.
But to that point about having a suite of AI tools, I guess 2 things I'd be curious to hear from you is, although you only use ChatGPT to kind of animate these text tasks, I've heard of people building a social media platform using ChatGPT. So feeding it its profile each day and asking it questions about its profile.
Oh, wow.
And slowly evolving the algorithm that way. I've heard of people fixing their credit using ChatGPT.
Wow.
So I guess my question to you is, do you think that do you think that AI can be used as a monetization tool for individual creatives?
Yes. And I'll say that from my own experience. I've used ChatGPT to write grants, and I've gotten the grants. I've had to go in and make some edits and stuff myself, but it's definitely saved me some time. Take the grant question. It's like, and I hope I keep getting grants, and they're gonna see this. What?
Well, that should
But I'm
show
sure
the
everyone does
innovation.
it. Yeah. But yeah, just put the grant question in there because oftentimes I like to write, but sometimes you're busy with 12 other things going on.
It's
and you're just
tedious.
yeah, it can be tedious at times, but that'll help at least give you that base prompt that you can kind of work off of. But I mean, you have to get very specific, and the AI knows my business and stuff essentially,
Right.
And it can pull stuff from Google now.
Yeah.
I've been blessed enough to get kind of popular a little bit, so now when I type in local art plug, it kind of pulls up and knows what it is. And so that might not work for every business or everyone trying to write a
Right.
grant, but it can at least help get you in that right direction, especially if you're struggling with words. And I try to tell a lot of artists and creators with that too, because it frustrates me talking about it, because the library just had this opportunity where they were giving artists, or they were looking for artists, they were trying to pay $100,000 for an art piece, to $10,000 at the smallest, and they were looking for a bunch of art to put into the library. And I know a lot of artists who didn't apply just because they didn't have an artist statement. And I'm like, just sit down and just figure it out or something. And they're like, oh no, I'm not. It's not worth it to do the artist statement. My art will speak. These are the artists that I work with sometimes. So sometimes it can be frustrating explaining to them. It's not all the artists.
Yeah.
But some of them, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain to them that if you want to grow, you have to do these things. Because those big artists that you're looking at, that you're aspiring to be, I'm pretty sure they have an artist statement, and they have these little things to get to that level.
Yep.
It's just but yeah. So it's things like that they can use ChatGPT and AIs for to help them, because I know that some artists, or just even some people, your brain's wired differently. So maybe they honestly can't physically sit there and write it, which is understandable too, But it's still, don't let that hold you back from opportunities. So that's why there's cool tools like this that they can take advantage of.
Yeah.
And that's why I mentioned the AI grant thing. Please keep giving me grants. Thank you, everybody. It's giving me a grant. I haven't gotten many, but yeah.
Well, see, this is powerful to know as a creative, that we have a success story. We have an example of someone leveraging these tools effectively. It seems to me that, because there's all these different, app store apps and all of this stuff, but it seems to me that they're all either just using ChatGPT or Midjourney or Runway. It seems like they're all leveraging these 3 or 4 core tools to do all of their, what they call AI rendering, right? So because you can use ChatGPT as an API, right? So you could totally build a app store app with you're just building an interface for people to interact with your API key or your API token, which is and they charge people for these apps, which is just interesting to me, but it seems like they're all using ChatGPT. Who else has the resources to build $1 billion AI engine?
Not many, and I've tried the other ones, and I'd say over time, not even over time, just consistently, ChatGPT seems to be the best, just because it's the market leader. But I've tried Copilot with
Microsoft.
what's that, Microsoft? Yeah,
Microsoft.
it was okay. It wasn't my favorite, and you have to pay for it, I think.
Chat GPT, that's free?
I believe
They have a free and a paid version.
Okay, so they do have a paid. How much is the paid version?
I'm not sure.
It's affordable. We can look it
Yeah.
up, but I
You've been
believe
using
it
the free
was.
version?
I've been using the free
Oh,
version.
wow.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
get that much value out the free?
Oh yeah, I'm scared they go cut me off. That's why I switched to Microsoft
you pushing
Copilot
it,
one
buddy.
time, 'cause I think I reached my limit. Yeah, and I was like, I just need to get something really quick, so I did the free trial for Microsoft Copilot.
$20 a
Yeah.
month.
And that's not
That's
too
it?
bad.
$20 for the intro. I'm sure they'll keep upselling you stuff, but yeah, you're looking at $20 a month, Teddy. So if you want to get us signed up,
Man, got to cut some of these other. I have so many, but if chat, it sounds like that's the winner. So maybe let go of some of these other. Because I have stuff like copy AI.
I've heard of that one. I haven't used it.
I don't know if I mean it does all right.
Well,
But
I think
it sounds like you gotta improve on your prompts is what
The prompts.
is
Oh,
where the game changing is at.
definitely.
it seems, like I said, it seems to me that they're either all using OpenAI or something like that, because that's really what the interface would do, right? Is it would give you a structured way to enter your prompts.
Yeah.
It will make you ask the questions the way it needs to be asked to produce the result for that particular niche, right? So for copy AI, we're just dealing with copywriting.
Yeah.
So it has an algorithm for how it asks the prompts, and then that's how you're getting.
That's what copy is.
I'm a web developer, so like I be thinking like this, you know. But I'm like, are they all using the same thing? Because how are there so many like AI tools all of a sudden?
There are.
And I think they're all based off of that because you can
Because I
build
use
your
something
own.
called Chat
Yeah.
Box, but it seemed like it's like a Chat GPT. But
And I was working with someone to build an app, and we were going to integrate OpenAI essentially to work inside the app, and it would be just ChatGPT, but our version of it. So I think, yeah, they are kind of building off of this platform. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but maybe that's the open part of it. It's like open source code, but it helps build the overall OpenAI as well. One more that I was going to mention, since y'all were talking about the prompts, is Fabric. I haven't checked this one out yet either, but what Fabric does is essentially it searches the internet for the best prompts being used on, or the most effective prompts, and then it lets you use those prompts. Yeah, so it makes things a lot easier. There you go. Yeah, so
that's a
I kept saying
cool
prompts and prompts and prompts. Yeah. So it sees which ones have been the most successful, and then it kind of gives you those to be able to work from.
Sheesh, that's nuts. Yeah, it's just it's like a an agile code environment.
this got
You
me
just
excited.
keep building on
Man.
top object-oriented
got some stuff
style.
I want to do.
So there's another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Just switching modes for a second. We're still with AI, all right? People, stick with us. But wanted to talk about surveillance capitalism. Have you heard this term before?
I haven't, but I can imagine what it means.
Yeah, so Wikipedia defines it as a political economics which denotes widespread collection and commodification of personal data by corporations. It's a really wordy sentence, but basically at the bottom of it is organizations spying on you or collecting your data with or without your permission and then monetizing it. Facebook, all the social networks, TikTok, the big TikTok ban controversy. But then we go into things like Tesla, you know, and how they are using the data that they collect from your driving behaviors
For insurance.
to
Insurance companies.
to improve the algorithm, number one, but also to maybe share that data with insurance companies and things like that. So I just wanted to ask you about surveillance capitalism as a broad topic.
And Apple. Remember we stopped by that one booth, that vendor booth? Like how much money they make from selling our health.
I heard that
'Cause,
somewhere.
Because
Yeah,
it tracks, because it tracks your heart rate, heartbeat, and all that type of data.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so what he's talking about is at InvestFest there was a vendor there, African American. All right, okay, so don't beat him up too bad. But no, I'm kidding. But they were talking about. So he stopped me because as I walked past his booth, I checked my watch. He saw my watch, and that's all he needed. He said, "So are you making money off of that watch?" And I said, that is a trick question if I've ever heard.
Right.
There's nothing I could say that will allow me to get out of this situation.
Yes.
If I say no, I'm not using the watch, then he's gonna say, well, let me show you how you can. And if I say yes, I am, he's gonna say, well, let me show you how you can get more. So I was stuck at that point. I ended up over there for 10, 15 minutes just talking to this guy. And what Teddy's talking about, you know, because Teddy had his watch on too. So
Yeah, they
he
got
took
me
it
over
back.
there, so-
He
Yeah, I
tried to
was
tuck
over
it
there
back.
too.
It was too late.
Nah, she got me.
But yeah, so they kind of revealed to us that companies like Samsung use the data when they do their software updates. That data gets sent to the cloud and is stored in their database as part of their data mining efforts to create a model of how our profile uses the app. What's our heart rate? What's our health conditions? They're using that data and then sharing that, selling it to third parties for a profit. And so the whole business was built around us also being able to make money off of this.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it was a cool business idea.
But you're
But
gonna do it regardless.
right,
Yeah.
the data is being collected,
Yeah,
right? It's who's interpreting it and who's selling it.
Yeah.
That's the key. So yeah, so that's where he's going with that. But when it comes to surveillance capitalism, first of all, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think that it should be permitted?
I can see pros and cons, good and bad, definitely. The good, it's very limited good, you know. If you're trying to catch like a terrorist or something, it's like, cool, we can hear their conversation. And I know that even through certain technologies, like with Alexa, I think they can use just like the radio waves to see how many people are in a certain room and who they're moving and stuff. So they can get like these static images of people walking around, so they can visualize you without having to. You don't need the camera inside your house if you have an Alexa.
Are
If
you
you have any of
kidding
these
me?
things, yeah, they can see how many people are in your home
That's
just
one reason
just based
when
off
you
of
got
that.
the what's it called? The Roomba?
The Roomba, yeah.
The Roomba? Yeah, my wife, we are not getting that. 'cause
Oh, that's crazy.
the data, it knows the space of your home.
Oh yeah, it tracks everything. That is your whole
Yeah,
floor
the
plan.
data that it gets.
So that's what they can do now, and that's, they teach people probably in cybersecurity school how to hack stuff like that just for fun, just so they know how to prevent that. But that's the only way I could see there being a positive, and then the extreme of that is kind of what China's doing, where they're using AI and facial recognition to give people like a social credit score. So now everything you do is under a micro lens, what you litter, your social credit score goes down. You jaywalk, your social credit score goes down.
Wasn't that
And they
a
post your
movie?
picture up on a big board for everybody to see. And if it gets so bad, then it's like, okay, now you can't ride the bus for a week. Okay, now you can't ride the train for a month. And it's like they just start shutting down parts of your life. And that can be very scary. I don't know if it's gotten exactly to that point, but that's essentially what they can do, and that could be how jail works in the future. Maybe it's more like Black Mirror, where there are no prisons, but I know there's an episode where everybody gets chips in their heads, and then the person that's like isolated from community, they're just like a blur. They're just like static, and no one can hear them, but they just see the static image of a person walking around. They're kind of isolated from society. So the future is exciting, but it could also be scary depending on how some of these things are implemented. Will we all have chips in our head, and then some people we just won't be able to see some people? I don't know if that will happen, but it could get to the point to where we have a universal based income. You don't have a job, you're living off the government, and then you break a law like littering or something. They can't punish you necessarily for littering, but they can make things harder for you and take away certain rights and things, like, again, riding that train, I don't know, going to the library or something. Now you can't do that. Just something menial, but it adds up, and it could be a bigger thing over time. And that's just all based off of surveillance capitalism if it was taken to like the extreme. But right now companies are using it to make money, but then it's like, where do you draw the line with that? Because it could be good, it could be bad too, because it could also give them data like, okay, we can see over 100 million people that these are the causes and conditions for heart disease, and now we can catch it earlier. So now this is awesome. But then, like you were saying, on the flip side, they're making millions and billions of dollars, and we're not profiting from it at all. So
Yeah.
That's deep.
I'm kind of in the middle, but I don't know. I'd want to be the big brother, not the one being spied on. It's like, if I had the technology, that'd be cool, but they have it, so it's just like, it's weird. I don't know.
With the that X was talking about with the police surveillance or how they're using AI to scan like people's social media platforms and being able to predict if they
Oh, that's
commit
crazy.
a crime or something like that.
That's like
Wasn't it
a
something like
Minority Report or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know they could do
definitely
that. I
there's
believe it.
gotta be like policy and things
There
like
has to be.
that, advocating for policy around this stuff because there's no rules and
Mm-hmm.
policy around it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was headed next. Was like when we talk about privacy with AI and with surveillance capitalism. Because when I buy a phone, this is a personal device to me, right? It's not like walking outside. Like, should I be able to be spied upon? Should I be able to be watched while I'm walking down a public sidewalk? Probably. Like, I don't have any rights to privacy walking in public. But this is a personal device. I don't necessarily want Samsung it's not a Samsung, all right? And I have an iPhone out there, ladies, so don't judge me. Girls be disqualifying you because you ain't got an iPhone.
You got the green messages.
But but my point is just these are very personal, private devices, and it's not all about sexual things, right? Some of it's HIPAA violations that are happening. Some of it's personal, intimate details about ourselves we're sharing with our spouse or our loved ones over text. If that's being surveyed upon and mined for data, what are the implications of that? So, to the point you were making about X, she brought up several really good points at the Invest Fest about how we can do something about that here in our local municipalities to get laws in place to protect us. But I think if we don't understand what the AI is capable of, if we don't understand how surveillance capitalism is being used to monetize, it's kind of hard to counteract it. So I feel like we're in the Wild West right now in terms, you know what I'm saying? And we've got to reel it back in. We've got to take some steps back and fix some stuff. And I don't know that that's going to happen realistically because it's so vast and complicated what's happening, and it's happening so fast that it's kind of hard to stay in front of it. But I think fundamentally I agree with you as well. I think it's mostly good. The bad stuff can be really, really bad, but there can be a lot of good that comes with surveillance capitalism as well, such as the Internet of Things, right? That's being able to track, and we see early examples of that too with like Amazon, being able to know when your package is going to be delivered. That is surveillance capitalism. It's just kind of reverse engineered, right? We're monitoring someone else's business operations to know the truck is in Kansas City. Cool, it'll be here tomorrow. So that's a way that it could be used for good. I don't want to spend too much time here because this AI topic can just go on and on and on. Any final remarks, Teddy?
Oh, no, I think that's it. I think this was a good conversation. Definitely have from the conference and then this conversation sparked a lot more interest. There's a lot of tools that I'm going to check out and dig into just to see how I can integrate them into my workflow, but also, just keep my ears open to just kind of some of the other, uses, things to watch out for and policies and things like that. Just being aware of it. But yeah, I just encourage, everybody to maybe check out these same tools and see how you can use them.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on the metaverse and all of your knowledge with that. I mean,
I'll be back. Yeah, I got to come back. Because I was going to mention as well. So shameless plug. I got accepted into the Omaha Data Science Academy.
Okay.
So they have grants and, thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Congratulations.
Yep. So I'm learning the fundamentals of data science course, and within that is like machine learning and AI building and things like that. But they have grants out there for people who want to learn data science and machine learning and get into that AI field. So I'd encourage anyone who wants to take advantage of that to reach out to them. It's fully funded. Giving y'all a shout out one time. After this, y'all got to start paying me. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But I think it's a great opportunity for anyone to get kind of into AI if they want to get
What's
into
it called?
Omaha Data Science Academy. And I'll send y'all the link after this.
Okay.
And then, I'm sure they'll be able to share that out with anyone who's interested on their newsletter. So you should sign up for their newsletter. I'm sure they have one. And their
Might be
website.
down with that.
And then follow them on social. Follow us on social, local art plug.
Yes. Shout all the stuff out. My final thoughts, like I said, we love to have you back. Always a pleasure having you on the show talking about these things. It's good to see somebody that looks like us be so knowledgeable on these subjects and to be tackling things like the metaverse, machine learning, AI. So appreciate your hard work. If nobody else said it, I said it today.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode, this installment of AI. I think we should make this a series.
Yeah.
There's just a lot to unpack, and we need to keep track of it.
Yep.
So this will be the first installment of Artificial Intelligence. We'll see you guys in the next episode. The Content Parlor, the social club for creatives and business owners. Peace.